Good morning, everybody. This is Ken Shaw. We're joined here today by Damon Morris, head of our account management team, Derek Wood, head of our partner delivery team, and Jeff McCauley, our vice president of sales. We're still waiting on a couple of people to join the room. We had quite a few reservations, so if everybody can just bear with us and be patient for another couple of minutes, we'll get started. All right. Thank you, everybody, for your patience there. Good morning, everybody. So it's great to have a webinar with our existing partner base. We've got the head of partner delivery team here, Derek Wood, be known to most of you, and head of our account management team, Damon Morris, and vice president of sales, Jeff McCauley. And today it's actually a pretty exciting webinar. We're rolling out our brand new Pulse management framework, which is something we've been working on a long time, and it's the most frequently requested technology from our partner base, and so we've listened to our partners, and we're excited to be rolling it out today. Just in terms of the way we run these webinars, the best way is when they're interactive. It's better for you guys, it's better for us. So I really want to encourage everybody to use the questions feature of go to webinar. There'll be a Q&A at the end of the presentation, roughly in half an hour, but all throughout it, we'll try and have as much of an interactive dialogue as possible. So to that end, I'd love it if members of the audience can start asking the questions that they want addressed, even starting right now. So any questions you've got about Pulse or topics you want me to talk to or want the team here to talk to, please just use the questions feature. I see some of you have already used it to tell us that the audio is working, which is great. But why don't you all check and see if that's working, and tell us what you want us to talk to today. With that introduction, we'll dive in. So on the screen is a slide that a lot of you have probably seen before. It's the product architecture slide that we used to talk about how we've built the SOS platform and what are the core principles of the design of our product and our platform. We've always been about three key things: protect, access, and share. Protect just being hardcore backup and recovery, access being different ways for you to get at your data or transform your data and consume your data from the cloud, and share being pretty self-explanatory, getting data out of the cloud to different people, so whether that's business colleagues or the home users or friends and family. We're now adding a fourth string to our bow, so to speak, and we're adding manage as the fourth pillar of the SOS product platform, and this is going to be the core area of new development over the next 12 to 18 months as we really build out our management technology. And what we're talking about when we say manage, is there's four key things that we mean when we say manage. We want you to be able to deploy online backup technology out to large user groups, and we want you to be able to then control all of those deployments, and then we want you to be able to report on what's going on, the whole application lifecycle, whether that's installation or uninstallation or backups running or backup errors or whatever. And then the fourth element of manage is going to be interoperability. So part of the Pulse management framework will be an extensive new set of APIs and toolkits and SDKs that you can use to integrate your system with SOS, or for SOS to integrate with other existing systems, whether that's Kaseya or ConnectWise or any other management framework out there, SMS from Microsoft and other platforms. So Pulse today is about 3 things: deploy, report, control, but it will be about 4 things: deploy, report, control, and integrate. Alrighty, so let's dive in and have a close look. Part of this Pulse release, we're also releasing some other SOS technologies around Protect. So we've recently integrated the vulnerability scanner right into the core backup product. And so for those of you for those rebranded partners on the line, which I imagine is probably the bulk of people listening today, we'll be offering that out over the next 3 months. Then we've also launched mobile backup, which is something we've been working on for a long time. We're very excited about. We're the first online backup company to do it. So we've had clients for BlackBerry and iPhone for a while now, which lets you do the access and share component. But we've now added Protect, so you can now back up from the iPhone and from the BlackBerry, which is pretty cool. So let's turn to that. Now, just a quick check. I can notice in the audience view screen that the bottom of the slides seem to be being cut off. Just let me know if there's a problem with the way the vision's coming through at all. And somebody's just, Sachin has just said that the audio's gone down. Can anybody still hear me? Okay, right, so it's back up now. Okay, so just let me know if there are any other audio or video glitches. Sometimes the Citrix software can give us some hang-ups. All right, so what are the use cases that Pulse is aimed at? The first major use case for Pulse is for system administrators. So if you're a system administrator and you're managing a large corporate network, say 500 seats and mixed seats, combination of laptops, workstation servers, then Pulse is perfect for the management of that network. You can use Pulse to deploy SOS's technology or your brand, and if you're a branded partner, over the network automatically. You can then use Pulse to administer all of those machines remotely and report on backup performance and health, apply policies out to the network, create policies, assign different policies to different computers. And then the second major use case is resellers of SOS supporting multiple client sites. So I imagine this is everybody on today's webinar. The basic principle being that we deploy a Pulse server for you, so whether that's just picking on some audience members, whether that's Scott Myabra or Jim Dickinson or Paul Rep, we deploy Pulse for you. You've got your Pulse server, and then you use Pulse to manage all of your customers. So you can use Pulse to manage up to 5,000 PCs across many and multiple customer sites. We're going to see how that works in just a few minutes. So this diagram, and I hope it's not being clipped off, but this sort of situates Pulse within the SOS technology framework. And you can see the green on the right-hand side represents the new Pulse technology stack. And in terms of its size in the diagram, I think that gives a proportional representation of how important Pulse is. It sort of represents a third of the upper layers of our framework here. And that's appropriate because Pulse is fairly transformative. It really does enable very effective management of very large deployments. So there's always been a problem in the software industry in general, but particularly in the backup industry of how do you manage backup across, say, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 computers, even, frankly, 100 or 200 computers. And Pulse really solves that problem. So if we look at these 3 core modules of centralized deployment, centralized control, centralized monitoring and reporting, you can see above those the capabilities of the Pulse system. So silent installation with default settings on deployment. On central control, you've got remote diagnostics and backup policy creation and management. And then under monitoring and reporting, you've got exception reporting, backup session reports. And again, I'm going to show you all this on a real live Pulse instance in a few minutes. So I think we've covered most of this, but so yeah, we have. So just under the hood, what are the commands that Pulse supports? In Pulse version 1, this is what Pulse supports. So on the management side, you can create policies and apply policies. You can get logs remotely from the clients. You can change the logging level of the clients. You can tell a backup to run now instantly. You can turn on central management or turn it off, and then create and manage policies. On the reporting side, there's a lot of powerful reporting built in out of the box, and then you can customize reporting yourself. So out of the box, you can see all your machines that are connected and the lifetime of their connection. You see all the logs remotely, get logs, see backup sets for machines, see which machines have central management enabled, see backup policies which have been created or applied, which are active, which aren't active, see backups that were scheduled but didn't start. That's one of the most requested reports we've ever had, which is show me the backups that didn't start at all. Or you see backups that ran but perhaps had a few issues while they were running. So we're going to see all that in the demo. All right, so there's three action verbs, if you will, associated with Pulse: deploy, report, control. I'm going to show it to you in that order. So Pulse is a client server system. On this screen here, the screenshot in the background here is the Pulse web-based portal that you'll get access to, and I'll demo that. And also here in the foreground is the Pulse deploy client. Now, first thing to note about Pulse is that Pulse doesn't have a user interface on the client PC. So 99% of your users will never know Pulse is installed. It installs as a service in the background that runs under the local system account, and then Pulse runs periodically. The default is that Pulse will check in every hour. So that's the Pulse service that runs all the time. There's also then two deployment tools. So Pulse Deploy, or the WinForms app, and also Pulse Deploy, a console utility. I'm going to show the WinForms app because it's a little easier to, it's a little easier to to visualize. So I'm going to launch this, and I'll just change the screen that we're sharing. Okay, so that should now be sharing Pulse Deploy. If everybody, I don't know, I think that should be coming through. Yep. Okay, so Pulse Deploy, again, you would normally run this on the console. So Pulse Deploy is designed to be pushed out across a large network, whether you're using Windows Server 2008 deployment services or Active Server group policies if you're using an earlier version of Windows Server, or whatever your patch management tool is. You just drop Pulse Deploy into the patch management tool. You'll notice it's not branded SOS in any way. So you can see these Pulse, it comes preloaded with SOS details. You can see here it says Pulse Setup. And you'll first notice there's a Pulse server. So you'll each get your own Pulse server. And then within that Pulse server, there's a Pulse client. And that's pair bonded to your entity in the SOS cloud. So that Pulse client is your Pulse client. Then it says backup client URL. Now this is pointing at the SOS installer, but this would point to your installer if you're a rebranded partner of ours. And then backup account, backup password. It's pretty self-explanatory. These are the credentials of the account that you want to use in your deployment. And of course, you can have multiple of these. So if you're deploying to, say, let's use 300 machines for ease of, math, you might have 3 different Pulse Deploy kits that